Hey guys, in this video, I'm going to be explaining one of the most subtle but coercive ways that we are invalidated. And what I call it is invalidation with love. Now, most people think that invalidation is obvious. And they think that it's like when someone shuts you down or won't listen to you and tells you that you're wrong, makes you feel small in that sense. That's typically how we think of invalidation. But one of the most confusing and honestly painful forms of invalidation that I've experienced in my life is what I call invalidation with love. Now, it sounds like this. You open up, you share something real, you say things like, hey there, I'm like really struggling, I feel lost, and I don't feel good enough right now in whatever I'm doing. And instead of being met with you, and instead of something being with you in that moment, someone who means well, this is not done with bad intention, but they'll say things like, oh, but you were amazing, you've done so much, don't be silly, you've got this. Now, the intention is loving, their heart is kind, but their impact is literally not listening to you. And at that point there, it can be so confusing because they mean well, but you just don't know what to do with these feelings or these thoughts. And you're trying to be vulnerable, you're trying to be real, you're trying to just express, but it's not met in a listening component. It's like just layering on, or you are amazing, or whatever it is. So it means that you're not actually heard, and your truth in that moment never really landed. And essentially what that does is it sends you a message to your nervous system, and how it receives it is, what I feel is wrong, I shouldn't feel this way, my emotions are a problem. So we typically learn to do two things. Now, by the way, I'm speaking from experience. This is not just a theory. This is literally one of the most confusing things that unpack in my life's journey, 17 years working with people and myself. It's like this was one of the most confusing things to get to the bottom of. So you back to it. You learn to do two things, and you either suppress or you perform. Now, in regards to me, I did both. I performed, 3-time world champion, went out and helped 10,000 people in regards to what they eat, think, and do, 30-day challenges, flipped businesses around, sold businesses, helped people out, save people from suicide, all these things. Learned to do that. That was the performance side of me, but the whole time I was suppressing my own needs and feelings, thinking like, well, someone's got it worse than me. I should be grateful for this pain that I'm feeling. And so what that leads to is we actually stop telling the truth, and we just start acting fine. And if you think about how many parents are just like that, they just stop actually voicing how they feel, and they just go, yeah, I'm fine, and they shut down, right? I see it all the time, and I experience it for myself, because every time we try to be real, and we're loved or love bombed instead of being understood and listened to, it's like literally we get blocked, right? Now, for most of the time in life, that was how I felt. Is I just felt I couldn't do anything with my emotions or feelings. Everything was wrong. Like I was damned if I do it, damned if I don't. And I want you to understand that love without understanding can actually still hurt somebody. And that's definitely my experience of it. And at many times, and I knew it, I was like, I didn't need love. I just wanted to be listened. I just wanted to be okay to voice. So for me, I didn't have many places where I could speak honestly and be fully heard, and no one is at fault for that, right? And that's the big one here. There's no one to blame. I'm not explaining this whole process to blame and look at everyone in your life and so forth, because obviously, love is amazing in that sense. But the reason why I explain it to you, because I got so fucking emotionally constipated and confused that, my body basically started shutting down. I stopped wanting to train, stopped wanting to do anything, stopped even feeling. I become numb. My body shut down. And, essentially, my body was just carrying years of unsaid truth in my body, and I couldn't get it out to anyone. And so even though there was amazing things in my life, I ultimately just stopped everything. This whole channel is about my next million. I went out there and made my first million like a fucking rocket ship. But it wasn't the money that stopped me. It wasn't the work that stopped me. It was actually the unfelt or unallowed pain within me from all these years of of helping people and so forth that I literally didn't know what to do with myself. And because I worked with so many people in the trenches, I was just carrying so much pain within myself that I was taking on other people's pain. And if anyone out there watching this works with a lot of people, typically if we have a wound around something, when we come in contact with someone else with that same wound, we'll take it on as well. So imagine having a wound around this and taking on 10,000 other people's pain. I just couldn't figure out why, no matter what I did, I couldn't feel better outside the moment. It's just always constipated, right? Essentially. And so, that was when my girlfriend Yasmin came into my life. And when we first started dating, this is a personal experience I'm going to share with you, and it was a profound experience. It really was like one of those moments in my life that will always stand out. Is, she did something that I'd never had experienced before on this level. Is she just listened, right? She didn't try and make it better, didn't try and tell me how amazing I am, didn't try and fix me. She simply just heard me, just allowed me to speak, provided me that space. And I'll tell you how it was actually. We were eating down at Bondi Beach, and it was, like when you're in a new relationship, you want to bring your best and so forth. But again, that's another thought of we have to bring our best to be in a relationship. And I was sitting with her, and I felt so confused and constipated in regards to what I was doing in my life, in business-wise. In regards to relationship, I felt it was amazing. And I actually just decided I was gonna tell her, I was just gonna reveal how I feel. And I said to her, I said, Yaz, just want to let you know, I had to pre-frame it a bit. I said, just want to let you know, I'm very happy with where we are and where we're going in our future and everything. This is what I'm about to tell you has got nothing to do with that. But when it comes to my business, I'm a little bit confused in my next thing. I know I do really good stuff, but I'm just confused in what that next thing is. And she just looked at me and just paused for a moment and then said to me, that's okay. Let's have a little confused dinner and just eat this burger with a beautiful view, being confused. Just enjoy being confused. And it was like something shifted in me straight away. I was and I couldn't put a finger on it. I was just it was the most loving thing someone could ever do for me at that moment. And I was just in that moment, I just felt like something really just shift within me. And I didn't know what it was, but I sat there and just literally 10 years of fucking confusion just left my body and mind. And what that looked like is we ended up having a fucking great night, where I went into that day just literally constipated and confused and everything and frustrated. And the wild thing about it is the next day, I woke up and had the biggest fucking download of my life. And that's where I created the process, where I help people unblock their shit, essentially. And it all just downloaded to me because I had forgot the process in the way I did it. And it was profound. And I can only encourage anyone out there, if you're listening through this, I hope you got something from it. Because when you have that unblocking moment, when that nervous system shifts, which is what I help people with, by the way. So if you ever get stuck, you just DM me for a one-on-one. It changes fucking everything in your life and is the most beautiful thing to experience. And so, that experience allowed my nervous system to be safe when I was being real. And it really changed everything. And essentially, is when we do not feel safe to be real, we start to suppress things. And when that becomes an automatic pattern, just like any habit, we then start to repress things. And that is really what slows you down in life. And it's not just the pain you're aware of, but the unknown emotional baggage that you're carrying silently that you can't even put a fucking finger on it. And any high performers and people that are doing a lot in life, you understand exactly what I'm fucking talking about. It's the unspoken thing. And why I'm putting this together as well is what really heals all that is presence, not fixing. There's nothing wrong with you, but presence I want to give you like a bit of a framework here, is presence really sounds like with a partner or anyone or even yourself is really sounds like when someone's being in this vulnerable state is it sounds like this, and these are like Yasmin's words. Thank you for telling me. I can see why that feels heavy. So it's validating your experience, and I'm here with you. There's nothing else we need to do, but I'm here with you. So there's no bright siding, no bypassing, just being with what is real in that moment. All right, validating your experience, because healing does not come from being told you're amazing. Healing comes from being seen when you did not feel amazing, and you still are knowing that you're safe, or you're allowed to have that space to feel safe, worthy, and loved. And that's what really breaks the loop. And that's essentially how you, in this whole process, my next million, which gives you permission for your next million, is this is how you move towards your next million, not just financially, but emotionally. And that's a big powerful thing about this. So if you got something out of this, comment below. Feel free to send me a message. I would like to know, like, how have you been invalidated with love in your life? Because anyone who's a high performer or good at what they do or so forth, any of this, or being a performer, is you know exactly those moments where you tried to voice your experience, your inner world, and you were met with love, not listening. So reach out. I'd love to hear from you. And if you need a bit more clarity on this, feel free to reach out for a one-on-one process session. So I'll literally help you find that block and help you, guide you to release it on yourself. And it is one of the most profound things ever. And you know, because we're talking about the process, the first time before Yasmin, where I actually unblocked myself, I didn't know what it was then. I literally went from all my businesses shut down, owing $100,000 when COVID hit, to within 4 days, or basically within that day, starting a new business within a week, earning $10,000 a week for the next 2.5 years, paying off $100,000, and literally creating a business that I love now, that I didn't even know was a freaking option moments before having that breakthrough. So if you'd like to experience one of those sessions, feel free to reach out. I've systemized it. I guide people through it, and I'd love to be that person in your corner that I wish I had and did have with Yasmin in my life later on. But that's just an option. So over and out. Pow! Be chatting to you soon. Hope you got something out of today's video.